So when I took the call, I was at work, and I knew that something was different. My mother was calling me, and she said she needed me right away, and I needed to take her to the doctor or to the hospital. And it was one of 1,000 times my mother had called me for that. My mother was like a world-class hypochondriac, but this time, I knew something was different just by the sound of her voice. We're talking about decades of hearing these calls. But I knew something was different. And so even though I was working at a middle school, and it was the day after April vacation had ended, and they were just like not happy with me, I said, I've got to go. And I was right. Because my mother was diagnosed with pancreatic cancer, and she died within a month of that phone call. And she didn't leave us much. She left us a legacy of some really great stories. And she was smart enough, though, because she left us a lot of bills, to set up arrangements for her remains to be cremated, so it wouldn't cost us a lot of money. And my sister decided we were going to bury her in New York, where my father had bought a plot, and he had predeceased her. So we didn't even have to pay for that. And we were going to meet some cousins that we hadn't seen in a really long time, because my mother had not talked to anybody in her family for 30 years since we moved to Boston. So my sister decided to take her remains on a last tour of Boston, and we missed our train. So we missed our train, and then we get in this really slow train. She bought the expensive tickets, and we got in this slow train, and there's a leak over the place where we're sitting. There are no other seats, and then we get out, and we get into Penn Station, and there's only one taxi that we finally grab, and the guy says, I don't know anything about Brooklyn. Well, come on, we'll use our cell phones, we'll get you there. We finally get there. We have a nice, ceremony. We meet with our cousins, and our cousins take us out for dinner, and we have this really long dinner where we talk and talk and talk, and it was wonderful to get to talk to them and to find out things about my family that I didn't know because they had been so separated. But then it was kind of late when we got back to Penn Station, and we said goodbye to them, and we were feeling just a little bit lonely, my sister and I, and thinking about how with both our parents dead, we were kind of orphans, even though we were in our 50s, but we felt it. So we're going in to get to the train, and oh my goodness, my sister kind of screwed up that too, because there was no train to Boston. So then we had to go find a bus. So we found the mega bus, and we got tickets, and we settled into the bus, and I thought, this is great, okay, we're finally gonna get home. This day has been really like a real messy thing, but we're finally gonna get home. I should call my mom and tell her, because she'd be worried that we're not home yet, and she'll want to hear about the day. And it was the first time that I thought of calling my mother to tell her something nice, and realizing that she wasn't there. But it wasn't the last time. Thank you.